Hey Dito, guess what time it is?
Stop! Emma time!
In this episode, we say goodbye to Ano. Sad. And we have a whole spring preview of animes have come. Which one we'll pick? Who knows? Watch the episode and maybe you'll find out. All that and more coming up. It's time for the Ktdata Anime Podcast with Dito and Ktdata. The Ktdata Anime Podcast is brought to you by Dito! Dito, it's showtime! Welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast. I am Ktdata.
And I'm apparently Dito.
It's showtime, baby. And this is
yes, it is, actually.
And sadly...
We're only starting 6 hours late.
Well, I was trying to prolong it, because sadly, this is our last episode of the winter season, even though it's spring outside.
Well, technically, it's really summer here, because we just skip past spring here.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we didn't really have a winter, if you think about it.
No, our winter was last Saturday, where it snowed for a whole day, and now it's gone, and that's when it went from 30 degrees to now, what is it, 80 degrees?
It's not bad. I like the weather. But, you know...
Welcome to Utah, everyone.
If you're a big fan of summer, might as well go into our first anime. And our first anime, of course, is Ano Natsu de Matteru, and it's brought to you by...
RPG. Rocket power, or Rinon rocket power. Oh, bugger.
I pulled up my ad read perfectly. I don't know. Some of us.
Yeah, thank you for my whole... I just totally botched that.
And you want to know what's funny, guys? Guess who wrote that ad read? Dito did.
Right here. Right here. I wrote that and I completely botched it.
Sad. Anyways, last time, we forgot about Tetsuro's sister. Rinon gives out some protection, and we get some Yu-Gi-Oh! Photobombs. Did I leave anything out? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kaito and Ichika, they start dating. You know. And last one we left off, we were on a cliffhanger because Ichika's older sister, older sisters, she magically beams in, and you know, so she's like, Ichika, you're okay. And it's like, yeah, I'm okay. It's like, oh, I was so worried. And then Kaito's just standing there. What's up? And she's like, who's this guy? Oh, this is Kaito, my boyfriend. Oh, you're what? Wait, what? What is? So, that was very interesting. You know, pretty much.
Even more interesting. Probably the most interesting thing about it was after they had to explain, or Ichika has to explain to his sister exactly like the circumstances and how they led up to this point. You see that sly look of Rinon in the back behind the door is just... I know you enjoyed that.
Oh, I love Rinon. If you guys haven't figured that out, that's probably my favorite character. And her owner is my second favorite character.
You and redheads.
What can I say?
What can you say?
Before we forget, her name is Amika Tatsusuki.
Tatsusuki, yeah.
Because
we forget names here a lot, so we have to put that in there several times so we remember.
Yeah, and this is actually the funny thing is if you remember in episode 2 when Kaito's older sister and Kana catch pretty much Ichika making out with Kaito to save him. They were all sitting at this table drinking tea, and it's almost the exact same scene, except now Emika is sitting across instead. And there's some bad news. Some sad bad news that comes into this. that Ichika has to go back, unfortunately. But she's like, but you see, I'm okay. You see, I'm here. I'm okay. I'm not bleeding. I'm not dying. I'm whole-bodied. I have a boyfriend. You can go back and tell him that it's all cool, right?
And unfortunately, she says no because what they don't know is that contact with with any forms of life on this planet, which is at level F, which is still developing in their case, that is strictly prohibited. And what Ichika just did is pretty much violating federal law, so to speak. And you can serve some really bad punishments if
Are you kidding me?
They catch her.
Not developed. What's with these regulations? We have the iPhone. We have laptops. We have 24-hour McDonald's. How is that not advanced enough?
We haven't really traveled space outside of our own moon. And even that's questionable in some circles.
Fine, if you want to put it that way. You know, we even have a pen that writes in space. Doesn't that count?
No, she did give some good information, though. Because in her talk with Kaito, says that you, in your current development and everything, you have about a few hundred years, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to go...
you know, we're almost there.
Close. You know?
Several generations behind.
So, after this episode, I'm going to go freeze myself and then just revive me. Have your descendants revive me in about 500 years or so. I want to see this future.
Okay, Fry.
No, I didn't say call me to a fake address where there just happened to be a cryogenic tube. I said purposely stick me in the cryogenic tube.
No, it's fine. We'll find a nibbler, which would be a Rinon, I'm doing, and we'll see if we can work this out.
All right, there we go. We got a plan, guys. We have a plan, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, speaking of a plan, Kaito had a plan as well. After he realizes that she's going to be each going to be taken back, he proposes a suggestion to Imika to take him with them. But again, that's against regulations because it's prohibited to take life forms off a developing planet too.
He has an 8mm camera, man. Is that not developed enough? Granted, he has to send out the film to get it developed, but it's an 8mm camera. That's probably the reason
why. It's because it needs to be developed for it to be developed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're sitting there talking, and then Ichika kind of gives him something that kind of looks like a goodbye kiss. And then she starts walking away, and she starts whispering under her breath, "Rinon, beam me away." And dun dun dun, she's still there.
But wait. There's something before all this happened too.
What
now? After Kaito left, Imika, Rinon appeared.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we can't forget that. That's very important.
Yes, she just appears.
That develops later.
That's all we'll just say. She just appears. Go, I don't even think she did that. I don't remember thinking about this now, actually. I don't think I remember that laugh anywhere in these last 2 episodes.
No, it's there.
Sad.
No, and she does actually give her in upcoming.
Yeah. So, again, we go back. Ichika's trying to run away. And unfortunately, since this is the last 2 episodes, I have to do it. Tetsuo! And Mio.
Yes, you do.
And Mio are pretty much holding Rinon hostage. Poor Rinon, too. She's getting like squeezed left and right, and she's going.
It's just no.
Like that. Some of you actually wish I
Yes.
did the whole podcast like that, but
No, that won't work. But on the good note itself, Remen appears once again there with KT's favorite saying. But with actually some good news, saying that if they are able to discover that the planet has been visited by aliens before, it can actually upgrade from planet level F, which could possibly leave it so where that Ichika can stay on the planet.
Ooh.
Is their plan, I think.
Does that mean we upgrade to like planet level C minus? Just get that little extra credit.
Maybe D plus. I don't know. Our attendance isn't very good.
Yeah. But so what they start doing is actually they're comparing the map of the Earth that Ichika has on Rinon to old maps that they have laid out in Japan, because they know it's somewhere in Japan because the plant life and everything match. So they just got to find somewhere on the Earth map that has been mapped out that's not mapped out on Ichika's map, and that's probably the place that she's looking for. So, they here's an interest. They're working through the night because they don't know when this rescue team's gonna come and take Ichika away. So they're working through the night and everything, and then there's actually a scene where it shows you all the girls have fallen asleep, and this is the most shocking thing. Mio's there, and she's sleeping clothed.
It's a miracle, guys. I think.
Okay, granted, she took off her stockings and her sweater, but she was still wearing clothes.
She's getting better. Level up.
And that's the funny thing is because Kai, he's still working because he's like, I gotta save this girl I love. I can't let her go away from my grasp. I gotta save her. I gotta save her. I gotta save her. So I'm working hard. And then Tetsuo is still there, and he's like, dude, you gotta have some rest, It's like, no, I don't need any rest, and this is the best way. Well, and then so it's like, well, I guess this news will help keep you awake. I confessed to Kana, and he's like, what?
Yes, like, yeah. This little news wakes you better up than coffee.
Yes, and he's like, oh, and another thing, couple days before that, Mio confessed to me, and he's like, what?
Double dose.
He's like, yeah.
Double dose.
It's like, this is interesting. If that's not a wake-up call, what's a wake-up call?
You know what a wake-up call is? Actually, the wake-up call is when they find out that the rescue team, has arrived. That's your wake-up call right there.
Oh, yeah. So what happens is, right when Mio is actually the one who found the missing spot on the map, and she's like, I found it, and then all of a sudden, Renan's going, no, and they're like, what? It's like, oh no, the rescue pods are coming, because they tried to beam to that location, and they couldn't, because there was a anti-beam thing around the whole planet. Beam thing. Yeah.
Beam thing.
So they're like, oh crap, it's gonna take 3 hours if we take the train to go there. And then all of a sudden you see this van drive up to the side of Kaito's house. and they're like, there's nobody inside. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's me. And then Remen's just like, and they're like, what? It's like,
Remen is in a van, and the first thing there's like, do you have a license? And she's just like, enough, or so to speak. And they're like, wait, what?
It's like, I didn't. And then Mia's like, I didn't know it was that easy to get a license. Like, I was expecting a situation like this. So they all get into the van, and it's like one of those
Remen-mobile.
Yeah, it's one of those like expanded like old vans that are not a minivan. It's kind of with the full top and everything on it. And
yeah, it's kind of one of those like carriage full vans, similar to like a hippie van with a top carrier.
Anyways, so they're driving off crazy, and all of a sudden the rescue pods, they just start pouring in, one after the other, and so they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then Redmond's like, all right, so throw this cape over you. Actually, it's a veil. Let's be honest. That was a veil. Throw this veil over your head.
But this is exactly what she said. It's dangerous out there, guys. Take this.
Yes. So she gives her that, and it's like, these are decoy biosignatures. So while you're wearing that, that'll mask your biosignature. and then these will be your decoy. So Tetsuo does what Tetsuo does best, and he jumps on. He's like, "I'll go," and then Mia's like,
"Scooter,"
and Mia's like, "Oh, I'll come too." And it's like, "Really? Yeah, I'll come." And they bust out, and in his homage to Akira, or I'm just gonna say it's an homage to Akira, they bust out on a scooter that was conveniently in the back of the mini or the van that Renon's driving, and they go off in the different direction together. And this is actually the funny thing is while they're driving away with an alien rescue pod thing coming after them, Tetsuro, he's like, hey, so Mia, how about you and me go to a movie sometime with just you and me? And she's like, oh, I'd love to. And next thing you know, he crashes into the bushes.
No, just veers like
off-road.
Totally.
Yeah.
Initial D drifts right off the
and I'm like,
freeway. It was just funny.
I was like, smooth. You just got a date, and then you do that. Smooth.
Yes, there's no better way to pick up a chick than running from an alien pod and drifting off the side of a cliff.
Yes.
Remember that, guys.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna use that one time.
Notated.
Yes. And then of course there's not only one rescue pod coming. There's like there's like an army of them surrounding the Earth right now coming down. So who else do you think is on the list of decoys next? If there's only Renon in the car, Kana in the car, Ichika, and Kaito.
We are left now with Kana decides to play hero.
Yes, and she's like, oh, I'll go, and she goes into her spiel of she wants to see the guy who she's in love with happy, blah, 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 and then
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is that van can stop on a dime, because it's like, she gets out.
Oh, yeah, it's just like it's the moment. Like they're going from like 75 to 0 out, then back to 75.
Yeah, I want that van. It seems to be magical.
Actually, you know what? I want that van too, and this is for a totally different reason too. So after Kana goes out there to play decoy,
she yells out the funniest thing too.
Pod decides to come. Huh?
She says the funniest thing too. It's like, I'm gonna make you regret for not picking me for 3 years straight. She just fucks it.
Yes, but then we come into one of the better scenes too. Is that the reason? Like another rescue pod goes to the top, and then out of nowhere, Renon kind of like fiddles around with like on near the stick shift and pushes a button to where this robotic arm comes out from the top where the cover was and knocks off the rescue pod, and then they're both like, I mean, what is this van?
Yeah, it's just like a giant arm, and it's not even like a normal button. It's one of those like safety break glass and press here buttons that you see in the movies.
Conveniently located next to the shifter.
Yes, convenient. Well, she's a safe driver. She wants to keep her eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, fighting robots.
And next to her emergency hand button.
Yes,
robotic hand button.
You know, and then so the funny thing is that even though that happens, the rescue pod's still pretty persistent, and then goes after it, and it manages to tip the van over, and you have this hard crash. You know, like, oh my god, they're gonna all die, kind of crash. And that's the end of the episode, and this is the last we hear of Ano. No. Then
it just ends up right here. Ano's completely done. This is our thoughts of the entire anime. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. So it goes into the next episode, and then you just see this giant inflated pink thing that they're all surrounded in. And guess who it is? It's Rinon! Yay!
Rinon to the rescue!
Apparently she can inflate like she not only is she a spaceship, a really cute avatar, a giant computer, she is also a airbag. Inflatable airbag.
A giant fluffy airbag. I know Kevin wants one.
Yeah, because you just see. The funny thing is they make sure the stock that's on top of her head just pops up out of the door.
Right through the window.
So you know, so that saves them. So they start running out, and then Remon's just like, all right. So I'll take care of this one. You guys just keep going. And they're like, are you sure? Yeah, don't worry about it. And she attaches attachment to her giant camera, and it looks like a laser sight. And then all of a sudden, the van turns into this mobile armor Remen. It really turns into this mobile armor she controls.
And this is the first thing I thought of too. I'm like, what the hell? Remen, really? What the hell? And this is the best part too, because after she attaches her laser sight to her camera, she points at it, and then missiles fly up from the van, and like laser guided missiles right to the rescue pod, and that's when I'm just like, okay, seriously.
Yeah. And then after that, it cuts back to Kana, and she's kind of hiding in the woods, and she runs, and all of a sudden she sees a car stop, and guess who it is? It's
Minami.
Yeah, it's Minami, and the funny thing is, she says, "My husband told me to drive out here," and then Kana just jumps in the car. It's like, "I have a stalker coming after me." It's like, "Oh, I can take care of it," and all of a sudden the rescue pod pops out, and she just bucks it. She just pedal to the metal right there and just drives off.
Screams for dear life, and you just hear screeching off there. And I was just like, "That's a stalker, all right."
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that that line I just told you will play an important role a little bit later. But so then it cuts back to Remen still fighting the rescue pod right there, and apparently she ticked off the rescue pod because it's kind of tearing limbs. Literally, it's tearing limbs off the van now. And Remen's like, Then all of a sudden, all these rockets just fly in and blow up the rescue pod. And Remen turns around and is like, "You guys are always late." And guess who are the guys with the rocket launchers?
Can you guys guess? It has 3 letters in it. It's MIB.
Yeah, the Men in Black. Yes.
Yes, and at this point itself, I really just thought they were just playing around with it, and now Remen's identity is starting to come into play.
I am pumped for the summer movie that's coming out. I hope Will Smith goes to Japan sometime in that.
I really hope they have some kind of Anno reference into that movie. I will watch just for that.
I know. I am pumped for that, and just for that. That's the funny thing.
Back to the anime.
Yeah. So then it goes back to Mio and Tetsuro. They're still on their scooter, and unfortunately, scooters run out of gas. So we're out of gas.
Things happen.
Oh crap! And then all of a sudden, more rockets fly and blow up the pod. And there's a guy. I didn't write his name down. But Tetsuro, he says the guy's name, and then all of a sudden Mio's like, "Isn't that Minami's husband?" And we only get like a short clip of what her husband looks like, and of course he's a
MIB.
It's crazy.
And yes, you're right. I forgot to write his name down.
Yeah. So
I am. Wow, we're on the ball today.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on a ball.
Yes, you are on a ball.
But so that's where it comes in, that it kind of ties in together how Minami knows who Remen is when they meet up in that cafe, and she's like, "Oh, so you're still doing that high school thing?" Apparently, she's married to an MIB agent, right there, and so then it cuts back to Kana, and they're just like booking it still. And Minami's like, "Why won't you come save me?" And of course, even the funny thing is,
this is the best part.
This is your favorite part right here. So.
This is my favorite part, because here you have the pod just flying toward him, then 2 black cars come side by side to it, just matching its speed. And I may not be the best detailed gun fanatic out there, but from the barrels I see pop out of both sides of the windows look like Barretts. It looks like they just pulled 2 Barretts outside the windows and just completely shot it. And the first thing I think in my head is like, and how in the world is that car's window still intact? You're shooting a 50 cal gun outside your window. Come on. But I still loved it.
Oh, I loved it. And I'm like, how come they didn't just use rocket launchers like everybody else did?
That would probably shatter their windows, because of 50 cal Barrett that can shoot for over 2 miles, pretty precise, can not destroy your windows right when
this
you're
is
firing
anime.
blank.
The rules of physics do not apply. Like, if you you follow logical reasoning in this, what are the chances that an alien coming down from space accidentally kills a kid, uses her cells to revive him twice, and then falls in love with him?
Pretty damn high, actually.
Why can't I be that kid then?
Unlucky.
So,
and not in Japan.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the cool things happen.
I know,
Japan.
It's that stupid Tokyo Tower.
It is a magnet toward all the craziness in the world and all extraterrestrial life. That's the reason why they're so advanced.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
They have the robots. But we have
They have a Gundam. I want it.
We have Justin Bieber.
They have the Akira bike now. I want it.
We have Justin Bieber. Actually, he's Canadian.
Said probably the most blasphemous thing on this show ever.
Oh. That's not quite yet. We'll get there. So
we still have many episodes to come.
Yes. We go to we cut to Ichika and Kaito, and they finally find this beach. And Ichika's like, "This is my memory. This is the memory that I've seen of this place." And as they walk towards the beach, all of a sudden this weird diamond sphere thing comes in and just shatters all over the place, and they end up being inside a dream. And then it shows a tree where it has Mihizu written on the tree bark, which is apparently one of Ichika's descendants, because apparently all of Ichika's family has this image coded into their mind. And they're like, "Oh, we found the proof! We found the proof!" And then the dream starts slowly fading away. And it looks like that tree got cut down or struck down by lightning or something. Because, like, it's not there. Only the stump is there. And, like, oh, no.
Or a giant robot knocked it over.
Or a giant robot knocked it over. What? Maybe.
Maybe. You never know.
Maybe. So, and then finally the rescue pods have caught up to Ichika and Kaito. And one of them
are raining from the sky, mind you.
Yes,
raining from the sky.
Yes, they are coming down. And so one of them pins down Kaito, and the other one's grabbing Ichika. Ichika's trying to struggle back to them. They have this touching embrace moment where Kaito's trying to get there. And unfortunately, he can't because there's a giant robot on top of him.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do when you have, unforeseen amount of force game placed on you, pinning you down.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Ichika's like, "Oh, you promise you'll always love me?" And he's like, "Yes, always." And then she finally gives up and lets the rescue pod take her away. And we have this embrace where, Ichika's taken away, and then Kaito, finally, after the robots are all lifting back up into space, he runs out to the water trying to get her, but it's already too late. She's flying back through space.
This is about where everybody, the rest of the gang,
finally
assembles.
catch up. Yeah, they
right
catch
as
up.
this happening.
And so you have this really heartfelt moment right there, and then it cuts back to a few weeks later at school where they're all starting the fall semester, and they're all in their new uniforms and stuff because they're seniors now, going through class and everything. And then we cut to a scene where Remon's like, "Yeah, it's like, I'm transferring out." And like, "When are you transferring out?" "Now."
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, there you go. That was funny to me. They're just like, "So when you going?" "Actually, now."
Yeah. And she's like, "Well, here's sort of a parting gift," and she gives them this film, and then she just walks away and is like, "This was an interesting summer."
Yeah, and the funny part was about the film. It was pretty much the movie they made up to this point. So after Remen leaves, they go back to Kaito's place and start reviewing the film that Remen shot with them. And you're seeing like all the clips and all the stuff that was going on between when they first met Ichika to like, well, pretty much near the end, and it was awesome because it starts out with the really interesting like conflict between Ichika and Tetsuo. Now I said it right the first time.
Tetsuo!
Yeah,
say it. Come on,
like,
Dito. This is the last time we'll be able to do this. Tetsuo!
Yes, it is. We'll find another name to hash up later. but it was one of those like when you were first watching it, going like, oh, okay, this is horrible stuff, and then it starts getting into like all their memorable embraces of when they're having fun, and after this, you kind of like. For me, at least, when I was watching this, and you kind of feel the gravity of everything, like how much, like if you were going through all this, like all the memories that went into this as you're watching this is just kind of overflowing you. Because at this point, you're watching, like everyone's starting to get all teared up. You know, Kana basically just starts breaking down.
I mean, this is how you actually make a clip episode really interesting. Is you put clips into something like this, and then after that, it only shows you a little bit of clips, and then. Kai's sister comes back and she's like, "Oh, where's Ichika?" And there's like it's like I got her this outfit or something. It looked kind of hideous. It's like, "Can't you mail it to her?" And Kai's like, yeah, I guess I can." And the last scene that we actually see in this whole thing is the film club at the high school they're going to. They're talking about like, "Oh, isn't this what the seniors left behind from last year?" It's like, yeah, it's such an awesome movie. It has special effects, has aliens, has action, has everything in it. It's pretty awesome. And then it shows the actual film club actually watching it. And I'm not going to tell you what's in that video. You guys watch it because I think watching that whole video is part of the experience of this entire anime. And it wraps everything up nicely. And I actually like that. And sadly, that's the end of Anno.
Yes, and one last clip there too. You see Remen at the MIB headquarters.
Oh yes,
with Rinon.
Yes, and Rinon's a special advisor because what you don't see is that they never rescue Rinon. The pods just take Ichika away, not Rinon, and it looks like Rinon's just there eating pizza.
Or something.
Yeah,
and they're like reviewing her ship and everything. So.
Yeah. What's funny is that that whole MIB layout, it looks exactly like the headquarters you see in the Men in Black movies.
Yes.
So this is why I have hope that this anime is going to show up somewhere.
And, we really hope, at least for me and actually KT here, that in the new MIB 3, they will make some reference to Anno. We really, really hope so, because if so, that makes the movie just that much more worth going to see.
Yes. Dito, you know what I just realized? You and me, we need to go watch it together. Like,
yes, we do.
That weekend comes out, we'll go do that. And then maybe
there's that, because we were supposed to go watch Hunger Games, but that kind of fell through once I kind of found out the real plot behind it. And that's not going to happen. But speaking of stuff we are going to watch, ladies and gentlemen,
no.
Now that Anno is done, we have to choose 3 new animes for the next season.
Yeah, or we could just end this episode. This would be our shortest episode ever. People would like this because we've actually had an episode under an hour. You think we really do that to you? No. So,
no. Be prepared. We are going to list off several new animes coming out in the spring season that we like to hear if you personally want us to review.
If you want us to review it, remember kita@ktdata.net. And so we have to, since it's spring, because we're not going to end this. Dito and I have a blast making this podcast for the 3 of you that actually listen to this. So
yes, we appreciate you 3 listening.
So of course the next season after winter is spring. So we just wanted to tell you that our spring anime preview is brought to you by Thick Eyebrows. The one of the few times we will ever mention Rock Lee in any of these podcasts at all.
Yes.
But so we're not
Don't blame us. Don't blame us. We're not haters of Rock Lee.
We're he has his own anime now, so he's got to be cool, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So what we wanted to do is kind of mix it up a little bit, and instead of telling you the 3 animes that we're gonna do like we did in the fall season to the winter, we're gonna just list off a whole bunch of them. 3 of them may or may not be the animes that we pick to do. So you're just gonna have to guess, and let's start out with our first one. If I can press the button. And our first anime is Korewa Zombie Desu-ka of the Dead. Gosh, couldn't you find a short title?
No, I couldn't. This is the second season to Korewa Zombie Desu-ka. The first season, for all those who have seen it, knows it really because the protagonist is a zombie who lives with a necromancer and develops powers from a magical or a maho shoujo, and becomes friends with a vampire ninja. Now, this particular, their second season actually picks up right after the OVA series. And in this particular season, it seems like there's going to be a lot more to deal with. Ayakawa's power is Maho Shoujo. And on top of that, too, there's going to be a lot more to
what's the word, Dito?
If you watch the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is one of my personal favorite shows from last year because for who have watched the first season, probably laughed our ass off watching this first season because it was completely random. And I'm just glad to see them pulling out a second season.
Season 2! So, this may be one of the animes we actually pull out. This may not be. So you should just go watch season 1, just in case. Just in case, yes. You know.
I advise it. If anyone who's going to be watching season 2 and have not seen season 1, do go through season 1. Not just because it makes sense, because it's awesome.
All right, so that is one of the possibilities. And speaking of sequels, here's another one that's actually a sequel to one of our other animes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this will play or not, maybe not, a little bit. And the second anime that we're going to be listing that's airing in spring is Eureka 7 AO, or however you want to pronounce it.
Ow, maybe.
Ow, wow, hippos.
I don't know if we can say A or ow, but
who knows. And so this kind of takes place after the whole Eureka 7 series, all 50 episodes of it, and a movie. And set in Okinawa on an island of Iwado. I'm pronouncing these actually pretty well, Dito.
Considering how late it is.
Yeah, and what happens is this island, they want to go independent now. They don't want to be part of Japan or anyone. They want to be their own dudes, separating, and so our protagonist of this is actually a 13-year-old boy. His name is, I hope it's Ao or Ao, Fukai, and he has a missing father, and he lives on an island with an old doctor named Toshio.
And he's 13 years old.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. And they're about to enter middle school, because what's a Japanese anime without entering middle school? So the thing is, he also has a mysterious, because you think he has a mom, but she was taken away mysteriously 13 years ago, or a decade ago, 10 years ago. I can count.
Yes.
Yes. And then the heroine is Al's friend named Naru Arata, and now we have our duo like we had in the previous Eureka 7, and she has a Utah power that she discovered when she was a little bit little. And then all that wraps around this mysterious group called Secret. Very creative name.
Yes. We'll probably get a real name sooner or later.
Yeah.
Because this is still a plot summary that we
Yes.
kind of pulled off. So.
And then they're trying to scrub coral life forms from around the island. That's bad. Don't do that to coral. Coral's cool. And then next thing you know, Al, he just like, of course, in Eureka 7 there are giant robots. He kind of does it the Gundam way, where he secretly discovers a Nervash, however you call it.
Nervash.
I never could say that right. Nervash. And it's his. He's the one who's going to be protecting the island. So we will see where that goes. And judging by how good Eureka 7 was, I'm expecting a lot from this show right here. So here's the hoping that it actually is going to be good. And the funny thing is, a lot of these shows that we're actually talking about the spring season that's new, they are barely airing. Most of these have only one episode. Some of them haven't even aired yet. Eureka 7, I don't think it's aired yet. I think they did a preview episode, but not a first episode yet. So.
Yeah, it says on ANN that it was aired on April 1st, but from what I can tell is that it's just a recap episode, and I don't think it's the actual first episode. I have yet to actually confirm this one. So,
and then let's go to our next anime, where we're going kind of out on a limb on this one.
Oh yeah,
but I like the intro song because Grand Rodeo rocks.
Yeah.
And this next anime is Kuroko no Basuke, or Kuroko's Basketball. If you guys know me, I love basketball. I also love Grand Rodeo, and this is actually Production IG making this anime. What could go wrong with this combination right here?
Actually, I don't think anything could go wrong, because I managed to actually check out the first episode to this one, and I'm gonna let KT explain this one because he's really excited for this anime.
So what happened was there was this kind of like the Japanese version of the Dream Team. They had this super Dream Team in middle school where they went undefeated. They were all top players, like top of the league. They dominated every game they played. And they were called the Generation of Miracles. And, of course, in basketball, there's only 5 players on a court at a time. So those are usually, the star players are usually your starters. But all 5 of them attributed their success to a 6th player on there. And then now, since they were all in their final year of middle school, they're all going to high school, and they've all separated to different high schools, because that's how the Japanese school system works. You go to separate high schools. And we go to Saren High School, who's a pretty relatively new school. This is only their 2nd year, and the basketball club's trying to recruit everybody during the club drives. And they meet a player who's called Kuroku Tetsuya.
See, you have another name to screw up.
Yes. Kuroko, and he's
Tetsuo.
They look on his application, and he's from this Generation of Miracles team. And they're like, oh, they do the Japanese time, and they're really super excited about that. And on top of that, they have a guy named Taiga Kagami, who's pretty much, if you guys have ever seen Slam Dunk, this guy looks uncannily close to what's his name? The main character in it with the red head. And he actually grew up in the U.S. and learned basketball and transferred back to Japan. Hanamichi, that's what his name is. Sakuragi Hanamichi.
There you go.
From there. And he looks almost like that, and I love it. And so their goal is they want all these characters come together. Their coach, they thought it was this old man, but it happens to be this girl who's actually she can see everything in numbers because she grew up with her dad who was a personal trainer, and he quantified everything. So she can actually look at a player and tell you how good they are just by looking at them, and how they're going to come together as a team and try to win the national championships. So because they're still a relatively new school, they want to go out and prove and say that we're contenders. And so the whole anime is actually about that, and I am super excited about it because, one, I haven't seen a sports anime in quite some time. Two, I think this will draw in people who aren't even basketball fans because all the characters are likable in their own ways, and you already start seeing some friction coming together, and I am just excited for it. What do you think about it, Dito?
I've always found anime sports to be always interesting, no matter what it is. Because the most interesting one I watched just like way back when was Hajime no Ippo, which is all about boxing. And I personally don't really care for the sport, but watching that show, it made me learn a lot about boxing. I find more respect to boxers. Like, it gave me a lot more respect to that. But everything I've seen from it, let's see, tennis, golf, baseball,
soccer,
yes, soccer,
go,
football. Yeah, go. Yeah, you can name off almost any sport that they've done, and they always did a great job. They did one on baking. Come on, Yatakata Japan. That made me want. That was a great show. It's all about baking. And it was great.
So I'm excited for that. And then our next anime, it's so brand new that it's actually airing the night that we're recording this podcast. So we don't even have intro music for it yet. And it's called Jormungand. Jormungand. And Dito knows a lot more about this than I do. I can't even say the name. So
yeah. So this show looked very interesting to us. And I'm just going to read off the plot summary here. I'm going to go straight by the notes because there's no way I'm going to remember this. Johan is a child soldier born into the chaotic conflicts of the Rage across Africa. I'm sorry. His family is lost to the war fueled by weapons supplied by the so-called Merchants of Death, international arms dealers for all those who don't know. Despite Johan's, I'm going to say Johan's hatred of weapons and violence, he employs both extremely well in the service of high-flying arms dealer Coco. It seems like there's also a band of merchants. What? Sorry?
Does he have a kitchen?
Yes. Coco's kitchen is awesome, just so you know, for all those who know that. Anyways, back to topics. You're making me hungry. Stop it. I'm going to slaughter this name because I never even practiced it, but Hikamiya. Yes. Sorry. I slaughtered that.
Hey,
and her band of mercenaries, because I'm moving along because I don't want to take it more time than we need to. The journey through the dark underbelly of the world's arms market may lead to their only damnation. But Johan's day will come to way back to the light. So it seems like this show has a lot of potential for it because it's a little bit darker. It has a very interesting story to it. But unfortunately, I cannot find any more on this outside of what I've read up, and maybe seen a couple things off of like YouTube.
So yeah, that, like I said, brand new, airing this night that we're actually recording right now. So we're gonna keep an eye on it.
And for anyone who's more information about this, please let us know. Send us videos or whatnot to ktdata.net. And also, if you really want us to do it, let us know.
Yeah. So another one that's possibly one that we could do, but definitely airing in the spring, is this next anime right here. And this next anime is Nazo no Kanojo X.
Also translates to Mysterious Girlfriend X.
So it happens that a strange transfer student. It's always a transfer student, right?
Always.
Just like Ichika, she was a transfer student too. They show up in Tsubaki's class, and he doesn't expect to, maybe accidentally taste a girl and maybe fall
and become addicted.
Yeah. He spends more time with her, and he learns that she has a penchant for carrying around scissors in her panties and making paper flowers. Does this not sound like an awesome anime?
Yes, actually, I did catch the first episode of this one as well, and at first when I was watching, I'm just kind of raising an eyebrow because they're trying to lead up to the whole plot summary that we just mentioned, and it was just really, really weird. But the best part about the show is, I'm just going to mention this one for all those who may not actually catch it in the first episode. There is a lot of parody in there. Look for it. There's a big O. Okay. There's Star Wars, and I think there's actually Iron Man. If you look for these posters and figures in his room, I swear it's like if I'm wrong about it, just let me know, because Big O is actually pretty easy to spot.
Yes,
but there's a Star Wars poster in there. It's called Star Wars.
And if I remember right, there's a previous Ktdata connection in here. The voice of Shu is the guy who actually plays Tsubaki, right?
No, this was the other one. It's our next anime that actually has a lot of reference to Guilty Crown, because even Kotoko is doing music for it.
All right, let's go to that one right now then. And our next one is called A Cell World. Again, so as we go on, this is the year 2046. Sound familiar? In the future, people can actually access. I'm gonna have fun with this anime if I can't even say access. Access a virtual network, kind of like the internet, but they can. It's pretty much Internet 3.0 by then. It's called the Neural Linker, and they use their cell phones, of course. It's kind of like this kid. He gets bullied a lot. His name is Haruyuki, and what does a bullied kid do? Spend a lot of time in your game store, right? And then
it's a little bit different in this case, because since he just kind of accesses a little corner of the web to play a game, really.
Yeah, and then one day he's actually approached by a super famous girl in his school, which is named Kura Yukahime, or Black Snow Princess. Does that kind of sound familiar? Famous internet star meets hero. Just saying. And
gee, I wonder.
And then she gives him a program called Brain Burst that gives him the power to accelerate the world. Does this sound familiar to anything that we may have done before? Even the music sort of kind of sounds similar too.
No, I don't think any of this sounds remotely close to what we've done in the past. But, again, this is another show that I happened to get a chance to see, and I was pretty impressed. It's a really interesting show. Another one that I would think that would be a very good candidate for our one of the top 3 spots for our next season.
Yes, and this is actually one of the only intros that I have a full version of, I just realized.
You really do?
It's like 3 minutes long, so...
Wow. The show just barely came out, too. It just, I think 3-4 days ago, I found a sub.
So, if you guys really want this show to be on, let us know, kita@ktdata.net, and we'll take that into consideration when we're picking all our shows. Speaking of it, we're down to our final 2 animes that we're actually going to be listing tonight, and here's the next one. And this next anime is Sankaria, and I don't know, Dito.
Yeah, so this is one I just kind of stumbled upon, and I felt that it should be worth mentioning into this and seeing if anyone particularly wants us to review this. It revolves around a young boy named Chihiro. I'm gonna slaughter the last name. Fuhura.
Sounds good to me.
I took a good attempt at that, but he has a weird kind of I don't know what you call it, fetish or whatnot, but he has a weird hobby. He loves zombies. And so one day he finds that his cat was killed due to just a recent accident. So he tries to resurrect his cat with an old book he found while cleaning an old temple and everything. So in the process of him trying to resurrect his dead cat, he somehow unexpectedly comes across one of the most popular girls in the girls' high school across from his, named Riga Senke. And she just kind of happens to stumble in on this and apparently becomes a zombie and has him take responsibility for it. Yeah, so this is one of the shows that is very interesting to me and pretty out there.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from this, so that could be another one. And the last but not least on our list is this next anime right here.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, oh.
And it's called Achikochi, and it's about the serious-minded Tsukimi and the pure-hearted Io, or Io. They feel like they were meant to be together, never separated. But they haven't fallen in love with each other. They just kind of know that they're supposed to be together, but they're like, eh. More than friends, but not quite lovers. We'll see what happens between those two, you know? Nothing like a little bit of love to throw a wrench into things.
This intro is just, it's just really cutesy. It's like when I first heard this, I was just kind of going, wow. I was expecting this to be like a kid's show, like one of those like 5-minute programs, and like little. But no, what the show is it star.
What now, Dito?
That much love story and put into it.
Yeah, so we will see where that comes out, because it's got to be zany and crazy, and those are some, but not all, the animes that will be airing in the spring, of course. There's a lot of other ones, and we just kind of picked ones that caught our eyes. If you know of an anime that is airing in this spring season that you would love us to do, email us at kita@ktdata.net. And that's pretty much all we have for now. That's all the show. And we're under an hour.
So I want to throw a quick mention out for another anime series that I just kind of watched like just last minute. It's called Upota, and it's pretty much about a whole school of girls that are guns, and one human teacher getting mixed into that. Really interesting, and apparently it's as lighthearted as it is. It still comes off in an ecchi way.
Ooh. I think I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, let us know on any of the new series that you personally may think we should check out at ktdata.net.
Watch them. Like we said, we're not telling you what 3 we're picking so far, so you'll have to wait for episode 1 of the spring season to figure out what we do.
Yes,
of course.
And your votes do count. Your opinions and votes do count. So
this is not like American Idol where you could vote like 3 times and it wouldn't count. Three email votes for 3 animes counts a lot since there's only like 4 of you out there.
It's true. And we will review whatever you choose. Even if it's not one of the shows that we have here, you know, if you think if there's something we should do that's coming up, let us know. I mean, we still have Fate Zero Season 2 coming out too. We still have various of other ones that's coming out too. I mean, there's supposed to be another one for a card one. There's a magical girl one coming out. Yeah, that's it. Beyblade. And there's like another dozen or so coming out too. I mean, I think there's one about a dog and a sheep or something like that. I think I completely screwed that one up, but I don't have the list up right now, unfortunately.
But yeah, so of course you have 2 weeks before we start recording another episode. So You can always watch us live too at ktdata.net/live, and our next live recording is going to be April 24th. So that will be fun right there. Make sure you check out ktdata.net for crazy shenanigans, blog posts, videos, openings, Dito taking his shirt off and running around.
What?
They have to find the secret link. All that and more right there. Dito, do you have anything else to plug right now?
Yeah, when was this?
There was a lot of alcohol involved. Anyways, guys, we will see you all in 2 weeks. Remember, email us with anything you want, and we will see you later. Bye.
See you, everyone. I need a bouncy ball. Really do. I'm just so stiff on this chair. I need a ball like yours.
Oh, you love it. All right. Video is recording. It is now 11:23. 6 hours from when we were scheduled to start.
Yes.